All right, how many of you guys are already in the security field? All right, got a few. Okay, 3, I think. How many of you guys are wanting to be in security? All right, how many of you guys are like, what the hell is this shit? I want to break into Facebook. I'm going to come to this freaking club. No? Okay, we got one person. We got a truther here. All right, so my name is Drew Porter. I break into shit for a living, and I started my own company doing it. So this is the agenda, pretty standard. Who am I? Drew Redshift Porter. Some people in the security industry, I guess, recognize me as an expert in physical security, wireless, and IoT, ICS, which should really just be called embedded security. Red Mesa started that company. I do have red hair. I am a ginger, and I'm a mentor for other small businesses, speak at conferences all around the U.S., speak at international conferences, speak to intelligence agencies. They don't like when you joke in conferences and those intelligence agencies. They're like a whole bunch of stiffs. It's not fun. Almost got arrested at speaking at one of those conferences, actually. And people think I seem to know enough, so they pay me lots of money to go teach them shit. So, the security industry. Oh man, already the photos, they're so bad. I'm sorry, I'll post up what the slides should look like when they're done. But security industry, it's pretty hot right now. Like, everyone's into it. What's up, girl?
Hey.
That's our second speaker. Speaking afterwards.
It pays well. It can pay a lot better if you're good at it. If you suck at it, it will still pay well, I guess. It's a $106 billion industry. That sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. If you're in it just for the money, like, seriously, screw security, go into like some startup dealing with IoT or some bullcrap like that, because that's like a $19 trillion industry. So if that's your objective is money, like, get out of security now. Know about security, because your startup's going to need it. But yeah, just if that's what you're for. And it's a blast. I mean, I basically just get paid to tell engineers, like, hey, your code's pretty much shit, and this is what you did wrong. But really, how we have to phrase it is, like, we're here to help you, not we're here to shit on your code. So that's actually one thing you'll learn on in security. Hopefully you can learn it while you're in college, is don't try to be the asshole while still being the asshole. So yeah, security job snapshots. This isn't everything, but this is some of the popular ones, right? So in college, I asked a whole bunch of college students. I speak at different universities a lot. So, Georgia Tech, KSU, all these other universities. And usually when I talk to students, this is what I hear. I want to be a pen tester, I want to be a pen tester, and I want to be a pen tester. And I got like that one student that's like really eager. He's like, I want to be upper management when I get out of college. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. But this isn't really, like, though this is many college students' mindsets, and at one time this was my mindset as well, it's a little bit more involved than that. And I wish this talk was given to me when I was in college. So this is realistically what security jobs look like. So you have security operations, code names for these, SecOps, SecMonkeys, whatever you want. These are the people that are like freaking wizards with looking at packets, okay? Now, a lot of times this position is known as like an entry-level position, so a lot of low-level analysts may not know a lot, but once you get to like the senior level SOC monkeys, they're like goddamn wizards. You send them a PCAP file and they're like, oh yeah, I recreated everything. Also, you have this encrypted password through this unsecure channel, and or was secure, but I broke it, so here's your password as well. Security engineers, these guys are the builders and the implementers, right? So they have a lot of knowledge on either a wide range of items, or they'll be wizards in like one particular item, right? So you have like Cisco people that know how to implement Cisco ASAs or Cisco Nexus stuff. You have load balancer people that really know about F5 and metrics for all this stuff. This position is where you will learn a crap ton. This position is also where you will think you are worth nothing every day. Because you will learn there's so much more to learn. And actually, security is like this in a whole. There's so much to learn that you can't learn it all. And we'll cover about that. Security architects, I consider them designers, I guess. These guys are the ones that have to have a whole bunch of knowledge in a wide range of areas because companies are relying on their architectural designs to implement not just network architectural design, but also processes or software design, and they'll base their whole company off of it. So if these architects mess up, 5, 10, maybe 1 year down the road, someone's going to learn, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, that was this architect. He's no longer with the company. So penetration testers, I want to make a very clear point on this. Pen testers are report writers first. If anyone tells you differently, they're lying to you, okay? You will write reports more than you do anything else, and you will hate your life. And that's okay, because, they give you enough money to where you stop hating your life. And then you break stuff, okay? But just remember that. If you want to be the pen tester, you're going to write a shit ton of reports, and you're going to have to deal with all this crap, bitchy little clients, and that's fine. But that is your job first, is a report writer. That is your deliverable. The fact that you're able to find this crazy O-day doesn't matter if you can't write it down, right? People pay you for the report. That's what you're there for. Security researchers, lazy bum. I used to be one of these guys. Just kidding. I was a security researcher. These guys are solving problems that aren't problems yet, right? Or in my role was to find exploits in embedded devices to help, domestic surveillance of the U.S. government. Sorry. But yeah, supposedly that's illegal. It's not really. But security lawyers, these guys will save your ass. I've had to interact with them a few times. In college, my college experience was a little bit different. I got visited by the FBI and Secret Service a few times, not because of me, because of my roommates. They got involved in something called BallSec or whatnot. So that was an interesting time. You don't want it. It's a fun story now. It was not fun during that whole shenanigans, right? You walk into your apartment, and there's like 2 people there, and there's like 2 people walking behind you, and you're like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, it's not fun. But the security lawyers, if that does happen, you call them, and they'll save your butt. They'll tell you, like, everything's fine, give me a lot of money and I'll do it fine. So if you want to become a lawyer or someone in law that focuses on aspects of security, I'm not the right person to talk to about that. There are many, many way qualified individuals, part of the EFF, that you can talk to, reach out. They're always willing to share their information. I think the ACLU has something like that as well. I would first talk to the EFF type lawyers, and there's a lot of private lawyers here that actually practice some type of law with security or with privacy, which is another really big area right now. So, those 6 jobs that kind of blew through them are really 6 jobs that are attainable, except for the lawyer part, right when you get out of college, right? Now, you're going to have to put a whole bunch of groundwork in, and we're going to talk about how you do that next, into doing that. But, being a pen tester right out of college, very possible. My buddy Chase in the crowd, he was a pen tester while in college, right? So security researcher, I was a security researcher when I was in college before I dropped out. And then I continued being a security researcher, and then I became a security consultant, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so how do you do this? How do you get to the level where you can go and you're like, I really want this job, and I've spent, XYZ amount of years preparing for it, and now I'm out of university, or I dropped out of university, and I want to do this. So these are some recommendations, and this is the part I wish I had when I was in college. Professional social media. Everyone's like, oh, well, some security people, I shouldn't say everyone. Some security people are like, social media is bad, you're putting out all your info there. I'm going to tell you one thing. You are going to put your info out there, and it's kind of like a necessary evil. If you think like the government won't find you because you don't put the information out there, if you have a phone, it can be a dumb phone. I prefer dumb phones. Those are easier to exploit. Smartphones are even better if you have I'm partial to a particular type of phone. But, if you have an Apple, whatever. you're already compromised. So don't worry about putting your information out here. Now, don't put your social security number out there, okay? Anything like that. But you have to put yourself out there. So LinkedIn, first thing you should do. If you don't have a LinkedIn, you should be making this right after, not my talk, but all the other talks. GitHub, if you don't have code up on GitHub, or if you do not have someone or snippets of code that you can send during an interview or that people can review when they're looking to see if they want to hire you, you need that, like yesterday. I didn't have any public code on GitHub until, I don't know, like a year ago, but I did have resources where I could send them examples of code or white papers of code that I've written, that white papers or other PhD people have written thesis about projects or codes of mine. Twitter, failing business, don't even know how they're still alive. God, the VCs probably hate themselves. But it's actually really popular to use in the security community. So definitely get one of those. Other social media outlets, I don't know. Those are the three I use. Anyone else have anyone that they think is up and coming right now? Security media. Keybase, yes, okay, wow. Okay. Yes, I didn't really consider that like a social media site, but yes, that is correct. But yeah, so those are the big three. Learn everything you can while you're in university, even when you're outside of university, right? So you should learn about general networking, TCP, IP, UDP, SCTP, C and Python, great combination, C++ and Python, maybe even better combination. I don't really do C++ coding. I like C and I like Python. And then pick something that you want to be really, really good at, right? So there's like a billion things in security that you can be good at. And there are already a billion people that are good at everything, right? And someone's always going to be better at something than you are. No matter how good you are, there's someone always better. They're probably going to be younger too. But find your niche, right? So you have these backends, the programming, the networking, all that other stuff, web apps, general background, and then find your niche that you need in that market. And that's what really sets you apart, right? When I'm looking at hiring people, when I was with other companies, or when I'm looking to hire people right now, the question I always ask is, why should I hire them? And the answer I always get is, I'm a quick learner and I'm motivated. Everyone's a goddamn quick learner. Everyone's motivated. Or you wouldn't be in security, right? So those answers are garbage. I literally will say no to people if they give me those answers. So tell me, like, I'm really good and, being able to exploit, arbitrary RF signals, right? Or I'm really good at understanding flaws and how, SSL is set up. I'm a crypto nerd or something like that, right? So those type of answers are what's going to set you apart. The answer of I'm a quick learner and I'm motivated, no one cares about. What you should be doing right now is getting an internship. So your internship should, and how many of you guys are in an internship right now? Okay. So like 2 or 3 of you. You need an internship that stresses you out, right? You need an internship that you go to, and every single time you're there, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get fired because I don't know anything. And they're going to be like, oh, okay, this guy's actually trying. That's the type of internship you need, right? Your internship doesn't need to pay you a lot. The first time I had an internship when I was in university, besides when I was a security architect, when I was a security researcher working on a DoD-funded lab, I made $8 an hour. I also made that company $1 million while making $8 an hour selling exploits. So, your little pay to what you bring into the company should be offset huge amounts, right? Your value should be great compared to how much they pay you. And that's what you have to do in the very beginning. Now, other internships will probably pay you better. I went to an internship in Arizona. I don't know what the minimum wage is here, but it's like $8 an hour there. So get used to eating off ramen, right? Sriracha and ramen. That is going to be your meal of choice when you're an intern. Do it now while you're young and you don't have any responsibilities, or you don't have many responsibilities, right? Some of you might have kids right now. Most of you probably don't. Do it when you don't have kids. Do it when you're not in a relationship. girlfriends, boyfriends, they take time and money. And they get annoying because you want them to call them, right? And it's just like, oh, I just want to say good night. It's like, God damn it, I'm freaking coding right now and you just broke my stream. As the intern, though, so the intern in this photo is this white guy in the suit, and the engineer that knows his shit is the guy that's not wearing the suit, right? When you're in an internship, look for the guy that, hey, Chase, can I have you stand up, actually? Look for the guy that looks like this, okay? See that Linux beard? Yeah, well grown out. He knows his shit. That's the type of, so you can try to like smooth with like, the CEOs and stuff like that. You should definitely do that as well. But your point of the internship is to learn as much as you can, right? You will realize when you're an intern, you'll be like, oh man, I'm some pretty hot shit. I lead a security lab funded by the DoD. Hell yeah. And then you talk to one of the engineers that you work with and you're like, wow, I'm a total piece of shit. I know nothing. My life is worthless. These are like actual thoughts I had when I was an intern. So talk to the people that are like the hardcore engineers. They will be able to give you advice that you will never be able to pick up in college or outside of those type of people. Go to security meetups and conferences. Hey, we're already doing that. You took your first step. Good stuff. How many of you guys have been to a security conference before? All right, we got like one or two. You've been to one too, you didn't raise your hand. Go to security conferences. If I had to do my college years all over again, right? So I dropped out of college senior year. I did walk. And then my school was just like, you have to do more credits. And I was like, I don't need you anymore. If I had to do my college years over again, I would have taken the $60,000 it cost me to go to this private school that I went to, because you had a guaranteed job with the NSA if you went to the school. And that's where I wanted to work at one time. I didn't work for the NSA or the CIA. So I would have taken that $60,000. I would have bought so much beer. No, I would have spent it on going to conferences, right? I would have meant, and I was actually working this out with a few of my friends, if I went to Black Hat, I volunteered at Black Hat for a few years before I became an instructor at Black Hat. If I went to Black Hat, I would have met the same people that I still talk to at college right now as I would have if I would have, went to college and spent the $60,000. I didn't know that at that time. But if I had to go back in time, that's what I would have done. I also would have invested in like some startups. But meeting up at conferences is how you're going to meet contacts that are going to get you a job, right? When you submit your resume to a place and you're going through HR, you're doing it wrong, okay? If you're submitting your resume on Dice, you're doing it wrong. And I've done like research on this. I've put stuff out on Dice before, see how it works. When you give your resume to a director of a company and they're like, yo, hey, I'm looking for a job, and they know that you know your shit, you're going to get a job in like less than a week. And that's how you should do it. And that's the way you meet those people is you go to security meetups like you're doing right now, and you go to conferences. The people in this room, you may stay in contact with, let's say 5 of them, right? But those 5 people are going to be some of your most solid references, not just for when someone calls and be like, oh, does this guy do a good job at his work? And he's like, yeah. No, they're going to be solid references on you getting new clients or you getting new job offers or you progressing somewhere else, right? So this is what you need to do. Networking, not the TCP IP type, the social type. You're going to have to talk to people. I know, it sucks. But you will. Compete in CTFs. How many of you guys compete in CTFs? Okay. CFT time. Look it up. Our last speaker of today, he's like a fucking badass in CTFs. So he'll probably talk more about that. But compete in CTFs. You'll feel totally underwhelmed or overwhelmed with everything, right? It will all be over. You'll be like, I'm not good enough to compete in this. And that's okay. It's all about learning. I still go in CTFs where I'm like, what am I even doing here? Like, is there like an easy mode? Is there like a kindergarten CTF I can compete in, you know? But no, it's just dragging your face through concrete until you figure out the problems, and it's a great feeling. Give talks while in college. This is my first talk I ever gave, right? I was so young, so hopeful, less salty, okay? You need to give talks while you're in college. If I'm looking to hire someone outside of that's like just left college, whether they be a dropout or they have a 4-year degree, if I saw that you haven't given a talk, even at a local security meetup, OWASP, right, or something like that, you know, SecCon or you know some type of local security conference, and then if you give a talk at a larger security conference, that's even better. That's a bonus. That's a minimum requirement for me. Right, and I'll tell you what my minimum requirements are and what I tell other people that are like security team leads for other red teams that are really large companies. Their minimum requirements for even people outside of college is ridiculous. And you're like, I'm never going to get a job, and the answer is you're going to get a job. You're just going to have to work really, really hard for it. Release research while in college. I don't remember how many white papers I had. I had at least 6 white papers released and published. Well, when I say published, it was kind of published. They're like published on like CyberNet, which is a classified network that the government uses. But I had white papers that were published, right? And my name or a pseudonym that I used were on these papers. You should release research while you're in college, though. There was public research that I released. I released research about breaking into AT&T when their network was a lot more insecure than it is right now. So release that type of research while you're in college, right? Submit to journals, all this fancy stuff, but at a minimum, release stuff on a personal blog, right? Surround yourself with motivated people. The people you surround yourself will highly dictate how you are going to do in your life, right? And there are outliers of this, and those outliers are awesome stories. But most of the time, if you surround yourself with unmotivated people, you're going to get unmotivated, even if you're a motivated individual. If you surround yourself with super motivated people that are more motivated than you or equally motivated than you will always try to achieve to do better. And that's what you need to do. You need to be better than you were yesterday. Things I wish I was told in college. Now, I'll do my personal notes, right? My mistakes. I was a little late into getting good at programming. I wouldn't say I'm like really great. I'm definitely not a developer. I can do proof of concepts, but I still introduce the occasional buffer overflow in a live demo at a talk. Undermarket my skills. Until, I'd say even a year ago, people would be like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I do, some things with computers. So don't undermarket your skills. Don't oversell your skills, because if someone hires you and then your skills suck, you're just going to get blacklisted for the rest of your life. They're going to be like, oh yeah, this person thinks there's a genius, and they're a friggin' stump. Try to get that little area. Still be humble, but don't undermarket yourself so much that it actually hurts your career progression, right? Don't be the security guy in a research, in a startup company. They'll fire you. And then I made a Reddit post, on RNetSec. I made a spelling mistake. Holy shit. I should have been wrong on my math, and people probably would have forgiven me more. No, but in all seriousness, I'm pretty bad with words. And you guys probably, my QA person is actually getting married. So you can't really look at this. It's trying to plan wedding things. So you probably found some mistakes between here. But things that you guys publish, stuff like that, if you're not good with words or English or anything, like myself, I'm literally terrible at it. Have people look at it before you publish it. So I was asked to give a quick, how did I get to where I'm at right now? So in high school, starting senior year, I was doing PC repair. Few months, 6 weeks actually. And the only reason why I remember that is because I had a bet with my dad. I became a NAT and system admin for a few small companies called GM and Ford. Then I was a senior security architect in college. Then I became a research intern. 2 weeks after I became a research intern, I took over that research lab and I became the research lead. That was during college. I then was told by a general, what are you doing in college? You're wasting your life. So I dropped out of college. I then became a security consultant. I then became a security executive. The company said they didn't want security in their product, so they didn't see a need for security executive, and I was fired. The company suffered greatly in their evaluation when that happened. Yes. Now, I really hope that company would succeed, but unfortunately, it's just dying in a ball of fire. Senior security consultant. I went back to that. Why didn't I take a VP job, right? I had security lead positions offered to me, all this stuff, because I came there to learn something. My goal in my life was to run my own security firm, right? Talked about it ever since I was in college. And I needed to learn something. Well, that stopped when the CEO died in the company, and then it was bought off by investors. I was like, I joined this company because it was a privately held company that was greater than 200 employees. I wanted to see how that was ran. Well, that stopped. So what happened? I got a phone call from my buddy Chase, and he was just like, yo, you want to work at this place? And I said, I really would prefer if they became my client instead of me being an employee there. And because of the people that I knew inside that company, and because of the groundwork I laid beforehand, selling my soul to anything I could to get better at security, I was able to take a standard W-2 offer and turn it into, you're going to be my client. And that's what I do right now. So, my general thoughts. Security is a lifestyle. Security takes a lot of effort. If you are looking for some type of 9-to-5 job, security is probably not it, right? And that's fine. Security is not for everyone. But if you're not willing to make it a lifestyle, if you're not willing to explain to your significant other that you can't go to XYZ vacation because you have to go to XYZ conference and in Las Vegas, then you shouldn't get out. And that's an easy example. The harder example is that you can't go to XYZ wedding because you're working on XYZ project, right? Some security research that needs to be released before a certain date, right? If you're not dedicated, get out now. We have a whole bunch of people in security. I wouldn't say a whole bunch, they're fading out. We have more than enough people, though, in security who are not dedicated. Slackers. We don't need more slackers in here, right? Security is meant to protect companies. If you wanted to slack on it, then you'll have instances of like Target, right? Or you have instances of like Sony. Those are companies, especially Sony. Those are companies that were lazy in security, and it wasn't so much the individuals; it was upper management at those places. But as you can see, even if there is motivated people and lazy management, it can get a little hazy. So networking, greater than college. Going to conferences, better than going to your class. This does not mean you should take your seat in your class. Nothing wrong with taking C's in class. That's what I did all throughout my college. Minimal effort to get that piece of paper, which then I never really got, so that I could just learn what I needed to. If you're networking, and that means you have to miss a test, and that test is only worth 10 points of your grade, and you're like, I'm at like a 95 right now, I'll be at 85, but I have a greater chance of meeting people that will help me succeed at this conference that's 2 to 3 days long, then I will, in succeeding in life because I did so well on this test, go take the test. Do not be lazy. Do not think that you can just write off like, oh yeah, I'm just going to get C's because this ginger guy told me that I can just get C's and I'll do well in life. That's not what I said, right? Also, if you plan on being like a PhD or you want to get a master's, something like that, you still have to do well in school. Sorry. That's just the reality of it. Other schools will look at your previous, GPAs. If you don't love learning, I'm not talking about the classroom type learning. If you don't love learning in general, just get out now. You're going to have to learn all the time. Always learning, always reading. Try to learn 2 to 3 things I didn't know, and not 2 to 3 things super in depth, just 2 to 3 things I didn't know about security almost every single day. That's what I try to do. Your time is very limited. You might think you have a lot of time right now, right? When I was 22, I thought I had a lot of time. I'm like 26 right now, okay? I realize, 26, 27, I realize I'm almost 30, okay? That's when I'm gonna start feeling old. I always start feeling old, you know? I don't work out, you know, if you're gonna tell. I just spend my time working in security. But my time is extremely limited, and I've realized this. So I spend all the time I can trying to better myself in security, trying to grow my company, trying to do all these things. If you don't run your own company, that's fine. You need to grow your skill sets. You need to better yourself. You need to better the company that you work for, all these things. But take many risks now. If you take a job right now that pays $32,000, but you think it's going to help you a whole lot and you're learning, take that job, right? When you have 3 kids and a wife, you can't take that job, right? I don't have any kids, but I have a wife, and it still limits the type of risk that I can take, right? Nothing is given to you. No one is going to give anything to you. You have to claw for everything you're going to get, okay? Some people, they feel this need of like, oh, woe is I. No one gives a shit about you, okay? That's the reality. This is what my mentor told me. Friends, close friends, and family are the one that care about you. No one else is going to care about you. So you have to earn everyone else's respect. And you have to do that with hard work. And then the answer, it can't be done, is many times done by people who haven't tried hard enough. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's people that have tried it, and they tried really, 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 really hard, and they're like, oh, well, that can't be done. Okay. But a lot of times when you have like a general, let's say, developer, it's like, oh, that can't be done. It's because they haven't tried hard enough, right? So always never limit yourself to that. Always try to keep an open mind. You'll be surprised how many things you'll be able to learn because of that. So yeah, in summary, security is literally a lifelong journey. Lifelong. It is not some destination you eventually get to. So that talk, it was a little, hurtful, maybe in some areas, but it is the truth. So if you guys have any questions, I'll take those right now. Yes?
Tell us about LulzSec.
LulzSec?
Yeah.
Oh, what about them?
What was that like? You said you were...
I was not a part of LulzSec.
Yeah.
No. Some roommates of mine got caught up in that. They suffered from being bored in college, and then they thought they were invincible, so they went and they wanted to hack other places. They all got arrested. They all went to jail. So yeah, it was not fun when that was your roommates going through that. You really learn a lot about other people though when that stuff is going on.
Yeah. Good.
Any other questions? Yeah.
For GitHub, does it really matter if you upload your homework answer codes, or is it more important that you have huge projects on there?
So you don't need to have huge projects on there. Having school projects on there is kind of acceptable when you're in college. Having anything up there is better than not having nothing, right? But if you, let's say you just have homework examples up there, try to get involved in some open source community project, right? So some open source code base, fork it, and then try to make improvements to it, push it up, see if they accept it. Those are the type of things that are a lot better to have if you don't have your own individual projects, right? So there are other ways to get involved without having your own massive projects. Yes, sir, in fact.
Is there value in security certifications like CompTIA, Security Plus, and EHC?
Yes, so depending on the type of field that you go into, there is some value to some certifications, right? Now, a lot of people will say there's not a lot of value in certifications, and that is true. There are certifications which have, very little value. There are other certifications like the OSCP, I think is what that's called. Yeah, OSCP, okay. Those certifications have more value towards them than something like your CEH, right? CEH is so easy. I got it when I was like a senior in high school before I knew anything about computers. I thought I knew a lot about computers. I didn't. I knew nothing. But I was still able to get that cert. So look at the type of job that you want to get and then focus on certs. But don't just focus on getting alphabet soup behind your name, right? The easy way to do that is like there's test kings. You can memorize answers, get all these alphabets. You'll get the whole alphabet behind your name. You'll look like a total badass. to like upper management or something. But the engineers will be like, what? What does your GitHub look like? Certifications is actually not one of the things. Oh, I didn't cover that. Is not one of the things that companies look for. So some things that my friends who are leads or higher ups at security look for. They look for has a person given a talk? Do they have a GitHub? Do they have a LinkedIn? What do they have on their GitHub? Do they contribute to open source projects? Are they involved in any security groups? There are many times where I've had people tell me that, oh, I'm with XYZ security group. I'm like, cool. My friend runs that security group. I don't tell them that on the phone. I call up my friend and I say, hey, you ever heard of this guy? And he's like, I have no clue who the hell he is. Or I call her and I'd be like, hey, XYZ said that he was part of your security group. And she's like, I've never heard of this person. Yep. Boom. You no longer get the job, right? This is the type of thing. So if just being in a security group, be active in a security group, I guess I should say. How about that? But yeah, those are like the bare minimums that companies are looking for. And those things, if you have all those things, they will outpace you, or they will make you outpace every other candidate. And that's what you want. You want to be the best candidate, right? Any other questions? What's up?
What would you say is the best way for us to find out about these different kinds of security conferences and security groups? How to get involved with them?
Yes. So there is a website called Meetup, I think. They have like a whole bunch of local security conferences. There's a what is the security? It was like the security Facebook, but then it never really took off. Paylist? No. Is that another one? Okay. What one is it? Oh, okay. There's something like SecInfo or something like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. SecCore.info will have a calendar of all these conferences, right? Hang out in different IRC channels that are security related, and you'll probably hear people talk about security conferences as well. But yeah, so there's like if you just go to like San Francisco meetups, you'll find there's a website, I think it's just called meetup.com, that will have all this info, SecCore info, which is SECORE.info. We'll have a calendar with all the conferences, stuff like that. What? Well, yeah, OWASP is, definitely. OWASP is a local security meetup. They're on the meetup.com. Okay. Any other questions? Awesome. Do great things. Be badasses.
So we're gonna have like 5-10 minute break right now while we set up for our next speaker.